We don't have the full details about what happened on the ground. We've certainly seen the news reports of what has been reported happened, okay? I can't confirm all the details because we are not there on the ground. We can say that we're certainly concerned about these reports that resulted, that there was an attack that resulted in the deaths of civilians. We call on the Saudi-led coalition to conduct a thorough and transparent investigation into the incident. We take all credible accounts of civilian casualties very seriously. We call on the parties to take appropriate measures to protect civilians in accordance with international law and urge all parties to investigate all reported incidents of civilian casualties.
Are you okay with the coalition on its own doing investigation?
And we call upon all parties in any kind of situation like this to take appropriate measures to try to mitigate the risk of civilian casualties. DOD and other entities put out reports on this after the fact as they all start to investigate. And so we will look forward to any information on that.
But my question is, you don't see a need for there to be something other than a coalition?
This is something that is fresh, that just happened, so I'm not going to get ahead of any kind of investigation that may take place.
It's only the latest in a huge number of civilians killed during these operations, though. I would
encourage you to take a look, and that is, we regret any loss of civilian life. That is something that the United States government, in particular, anytime you talk to the Department of Defense about civilian casualties, they will say the same thing. Well, I'm not finished, okay? And they will say the exact same thing, that all parties take very strong responsibility and measures to try to protect against the loss of civilian life.
You don't see a need for an independent...
Matt, I'm not going to get up. As we have seen, and you all very rarely ask about the issue that has been unfolding and the devastation that has taken place in Yemen. Let's look at some of the things that have been happening in Yemen. You have the Houthi rebels who continue to attack Saudi Arabia. They continue to do that with Iranian weapons, missiles, and rockets. They continue to try to attack civilian infrastructure in Saudi Arabia, for example, and that is part of the reason why these actions are being taken. Yeah. We provide a tremendous amount of humanitarian assistance in Yemen to try to support civilians in Yemen and try to mitigate against the devastation that's taken place there in that country.
To try and improve the targeting of the Saudi coalition.
We met yesterday. They had wide-ranging meetings at the State Department and with other departments here in Washington. I'd refer you to those other departments that met with the Turkish government. The progress that we want to be made is to have Pastor Brunson return home, and I'll leave it at that.
So is the U.S. then currently preparing for this next round of sanctions?
We don't forecast sanctions. We have complied with the law in announcing those sanctions just yesterday, and we will comply with the law going forward, of course, as we always would.
You've got a variety, a myriad now of sanctions. What's your goal?
The president has addressed this, and so has Secretary Pompeo. We'd like to have a better relationship with the Russian government, recognizing that we have a lot of areas of mutual concern. It is a major country. We are a major country as well. And so when you have that, you are forced to have conversations with other governments. And sanctions is a way that we can try to encourage better behavior on the part of government. Now, I'm speaking in a broad-based sense, but that's one way that we can encourage better behavior.